Imagine the entire pride of your country weighing on your back as you attempt to give the performance of a lifetime. You're on the biggest stage known to man, and you deliver. This has been the reality for a lot of men during the World Cup, and it got me to start thinking, if we were able to do this for football, then shouldn't we be able to do this for films? Think about it. Every other competitive space has an international competition of some sort, whether it be the Football World Cup, the Olympics, or hell, even the International Baseball World Series. Yet film, one of the most accessible mediums, doesn't allow for all countries' voices to be heard. They are instead put into the backseat to English and/or American productions within the Oscars and other relevant competitions. And these voices and different perspectives haven't been given the spotlight that it truly deserves. Now, I do hear you screaming at your screen, well, isn't this just a film festival? And you will be halfway right. While film festivals do offer an avenue for different voices to be heard, it simply just doesn't line up with the scope that it is that I'm proposing here today. Now, as I go through the tournament layout, you'll probably be able to get the bigger picture of what it is that I am presenting to you. The design of this tournament would be very similar to the Football World Cup. Before it takes place, 32 nations will have to qualify. This qualification period would take place a year or two before the actual big tournament, and a much smaller confined tournament that would take place in different regions, just like the World Cup. In the Football World Cup, they have UEFA, CONCACAF, CONMEBOL, AFC, and FAC to divide all of the regions. And from these smaller tournaments, the highest performing nations are the ones who move forward into the World Cup. Now, in my vision for the Film World Cup, once the 32 nations qualify, they will all be broken into 8 groups of 4. This will build out the group stages. And from the group stages, only the 2 highest rated nations in each group can move forward onto the next round, basically developing our Sweet 16. But unlike the FIFA World Cup, instead of it being head-to-head knockout stages, instead the group of 16 will be 4 groups of 4. Now, this is where the cream of the crop will truly rise above, and people will be able to separate themselves with what their product is. Because of these 4 groups of 4, only the top rated nation out of each group can move forward into the final round, making the final round 1 group of 4, and from there the rankings and winners will be solidified. This would be much different from how the Football World Cup determines their winners, since they are able to do head-to-head matchups. And with films, that becomes much harder to do in a 1v1 sense, but becomes much easier to rank based on quality. Moving forward to the judging process, and this is by far the hardest thing to think about in regards to fairness. Art itself is, simply put, a very subjective medium, and opinions may not always be shared amongst one another. But using judges to assess the quality and the content of any given piece is by far the best method of determining proper rankings. And with this being the case, the judges would be the most valuable part to running this tournament outside of the competitors. That's why finding 1,000 to 10,000 who are experts in different parts of filmmaking with little to no bias that would cloud their judgment when it comes to making decisions between these films would be essential for running this tournament. Since every group uses a 4-group system, these judges would be tasked with ranking each group 1 through 4 after viewing every single piece from a given group. 1 being the highest ranking that you can earn, and 4 being the lowest ranking that you could possibly earn. The biggest piece that these judges are making their decisions upon include, but are not limited to, set pieces used, quality of visuals, acting performances, editing, directing, and any other technical aspect of making a film. If the films are all expertly crafted in the technical areas, then the judge will have to make a decision based on the content of a piece and how much it abides by the prompt that is given. And from there, what truly matters is, what is the piece trying to convey? What is it trying to say? Now, before I do go any further, there is a slightly different inspiration sprinkled in here besides the World Cup and film festivals, that being speech and drama. I was heavily invested in these clubs back in high school for my last 2 years of it. And for those of you that don't know what speech and drama is, I can give you the rundown. For speech, you had the ability to participate in 2 different events, either with a partner or by yourself. You develop a piece and you perform it in a group of 6 competitors, maybe 6+ competitors, and a judge who ranks you. Once the friendly competitions were over, the state series would start. It would be 3 rounds: regionals, sectionals, and state. To win a tournament, you would have to rank high in multiple rounds and then rank high in the final round to be able to qualify for the next tournament, that being regional, then sectional, then state. And then at the end of the tournament, there will be an ultimate winner to crown on top of all of it. Drama will be pretty much the same. The only difference is not at an individual level anymore. It is instead all of the aspects of theater, from acting to the directorial directions that you take, to set pieces, to also how you put the stage together. It was all aspects of film, and you'll be ranked upon all of that. The major point being, judges can work in this space and other film competitions that are outside of film festivals. There are a few housekeeping items and caveats that you need to know about my proposal to this tournament. Within this competition, we really want to promote fairness and accessibility so that voices can be heard. So once the 32 nations qualify for the Film World Cup, the topic/prompt for the tournament will be released to every nation, and that will be what their piece has to be on. For example, being an action drama, sports related, a comedy piece, or hell, even Shakespearean. It could be very broad, it could be very specific. There will also be a time maximum tied to the films as well. And each nation is given a year to develop a piece that they find suitable for the competition. And we would put a budget maximum on it as well, so that no one has an unfair advantage when delivering a piece. The biggest point of the tournament, and I cannot stress this enough, is that you are able to represent your country and not a country that you have no affiliation with. According to FIFA, you can represent that country if either you were born there, your parents were born there, biological, or your biological grandparents were born there, or you have lived there for 5 continuous years past the age of 18. The point of this competition is for new voices to be heard from a worldwide perspective. The voices that would just be thrown into foreign categories in the Oscars and never truly thought of as a Best Picture nominee, or hell, even a winner. Every nation in FIFA is a member of FIFA and recognized as a national team. This would have to be started and maintained on that type of level for the competition to be able to run in perpetuity. Hopefully, we will be able to have TV and movie theater deals that will allow for these movies to have the spotlight that they deserve as they are competing against one another. This competition and the idea of it could just be an overly ambitious fever dream and have no possibility of ever being brought to the real life. But that would be a waste, given how the industry treats the voices of people that they don't consider normal, or at least their norm. While our current media is flooded by Disney products, war movies, and other erroneous adventures that serve nothing but just to fill the time, voices from people that are different than you, across the world from you, are not truthfully being heard. Stars of the next generation in film may never get an opportunity to become what they were destined to become. And we are truly being robbed of masterpieces that are deserving of the limelight.